Hello everyone, welcome back to Trek A Day, and today we'll be doing another one of these gut reactions to an episode of Strange New Worlds. Just watched the second episode of Season 2, Una's Trial, which hit upon many broader elements of Star Trek, specifically the heart and morals of the Federation. And in talking about what this episode did for me, I have to mention my gut reaction to the first episode. I like in the comments having a lot of discourse with people and talked a lot about some of the imperfections within that episode. I absolutely loved it. It wasn't a perfect episode, but for me, the two big things that made me praise it so much were, one, I just enjoyed watching it. I watched it twice that same day, just had a lot of fun with it. And two, it did something very important for me, proving that Season 1 wasn't a fluke, my enjoyment of it, and the promise that it laid down for a good second season of Strange New Worlds was, for me, even more important and impressive than the episode itself. As much as I liked it, it was more that it showed that a true season of Star Trek could be unfolding. And that just brought so much excitement for me, and I was happy that then the very next episode was, for me, a darn near perfect episode of Star Trek. It was fantastic. It was one of the episodes that, for me, defines one of the two main pillars of Star Trek. Star Trek isn't really about all the big ship battles and the explosions and the action, and those elements can be great and a lot of fun, and that's part of what was fun about that first episode. But when it really comes down to it, those things are only a high energy element of what is at the heart and the core of what makes that show work. Those elements only work if you have something deeper and more meaningful to care about within those action-filled moments. And for me, the two pillars of Star Trek are really looking outward to the unknown, seeing that which is completely unfamiliar, and perhaps seeing a mirror to ourselves within it, and the reverse, looking inward and really examining parts of ourselves and of humanity and what those things truly mean, and really putting a lens to a lot of social issues, particularly of the time in which a particular episode or series of Star Trek is filmed. And Star Trek is really at its best when those two things intertwine. Episodes like The Inner Light are a perfect example of that, of finding something unknown and unfamiliar and exploring that completely within the realm of an exploration of self. And many examples within Star Trek of what I mean. But here's one of the prime examples of that one aspect of Star Trek, the looking inward. And that frequently is done very well in this kind of courtroom settings. Episode like The Drumhead from TNG, or the episode from TOS Court Martial, which this pulls a lot from, both in its visual style, a lot of the themes that are played out. It takes a lot from those really fantastic episodes of the past and does its own thing with it, and takes its moment to really flesh out the background of number one, to really give her moment, both in as far as characterization and as well as a performance, and to really help define a lot of these relationships with the crew and that feeling of and unity aboard the Enterprise, and takes this courtroom setting to approach an examination of the Federation and the law and the situation that is reflective of issues within our own times. And that is what Star Trek really does best when it's done well, and I think here it was done very well. And especially once Una finally takes the stand, that is really the moment from that point on where everything truly comes together, and the real meaning and examination of the topics covered in the episode are put to the forefront. And for me, that's when things really are moved to a level that makes the entire episode a very satisfying, very Star Trek feeling story. And a secondary thing that it does too is For me, I thought it did a good job of highlighting the difficult situation that captains are put in, especially in this time period when they are perhaps a little more on their own, feeling out there in the unexplored and having to make those weighty decisions and really view the rules and regulations and the law as, in some cases, more of a guideline, situational, and taking those risks and making those decisions and taking those chances, and difficult those decisions can be. And you might not always make the right decision. So it touched upon a lot of things that I think were ripe for examination, and did so in a tasteful manner, in a sophisticated manner that shone a light on what it really means to be a member of Starfleet and the ideals and the morals that are its foundation, and huge concepts that are very important to my own moral foundation. So for me, this was definitely a fantastic episode of Strange New Worlds, and is one of the best modern examples of Star Trek being true to itself.